Good morning on this rainy morning in southeastern Ohio. Today we're going to be exploring a little piece of southeastern Ohio. I am Viking. This is Poppins. And today we're going to go visit a piece of railroad history here in southeast Ohio. In the 1850s, the economy and the population and the development of infrastructure was rapidly expanding here in the Midwest. And each part of the Midwest had its own industry. And in this part of the Midwest, it was iron furnaces, pig iron, brick kilns, mines, and railroads. So all these industries that dotted southeast Ohio were based on resources that can be depleted. During this time, railroads shipped goods back and forth. All of these little operations they do, and all these ghost towns would pop up throughout Ohio. And the railroads kind of started to connect this, and they sputtered along until the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then you see that these railroad tracks and these railroad lines are just abandoned, and then they're closed, and then the tracks are pulled up, and then they're gone. And today what remains is the earth that they moved, maybe the tunnels that they dug, sometimes the train trestles that they built, maybe just the foundation. But today we're going to go look at some of that. We're going to look at the ghost towns that they created, and we're going to look at some of the infrastructure that they built. Marv, what are you doing? You keep hitting record and shit. Goofing around with a GoPro.
Poppins and I have a history of being miserable together.
So Kings Hollow used to be a part of a place called Kings Station, a little town. It's a ghost town now. The tunnel was kind of in that area. It's about a 300-meter walk from the trailhead along the road, Kings Hollow Road or whatever it's called. And we're coming up on it right now. So we're here at Kings Hollow Tunnel. Be a great place for a rappelling class, I think. You got the little shelter of the tunnel behind us and other neat little features. Pretty easy to get to, just a short walk. And guess we'll go take a walk through the tunnel. Poppins is down there being artistic. You kind of have to support her artism. Is it artism? Her artisanalness. She likes to take pictures. Great writer. Love of my life. And she's kind of back there getting different angles, and we kind of have to support that because if not, then she gets quiet and I get quiet, and then the kids get grumpy and we all get grumpy. So as the old saying goes, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. How's it going there, Poppins? We got the very large beams, substantial beams. And then in the top, maybe you can see a little creosote build up there. I don't know. Action!
Action.
It's wet out here, folks, and Poppins, in her infinite wisdom, decided to wear something that could actually take the mud puddles of the Kings Hollow Tunnel. On the other hand, I'm over here with my hiking slippers, getting kind of muddy and stuff. Did you just laugh at me?
Sorry. Near you. I left near you.
Near me. Okay. That was pretty cool, eh, Poppins?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy to think that they dug out that whole tunnel without any big machinery. They milled all that wood and nailed it together, and I just can't imagine.
All in the 1850s. No big machinery, no nothing. Just misery. Thinking this is probably the road to the Moonville Cemetery. So this is the Moonville Cemetery. One of the cemeteries for a town that came and left in about 20 years. And I heard that this was recently vandalized, which is very sad. Some grave markers were knocked over. Yeah, you can see where they were knocked over. 1876. Is this the little girl, Joan?
Yep, Jones. She lived 10 days.
It's evidence of the recent vandalism. Very sad. They would do that. Coe was the name of the family that owned a lot of land around here. And he gets a flag way out here. They bring him a flag for his military service. Coe was the name of the family that owned the land that the railroad was first built on. So it looks like they lived in Moonville too. So Moonville Cemetery, it's kind of heartening to notice that people come up and take care of it. They put posts on, rake the leaves, put a flag by the veteran's grave. Even though it's a long forgotten cemetery, these people still take the time to come up here and try to take care of it. And the other side of the human race is somebody vandalized these graves not too long ago. So the road up to the cemetery, Moonville, we're off. So by the mid-1800s, 5 rail lines were built across Ohio. And one of those lines was the Marionette and Cincinnati line. Now, when this line was being built by a man named William Cutler, he was having financial trouble before he ever started the rail line. Fast forward to a guy named Samuel Coe, who owned a lot of land. And Coe said to Cutler, he goes, "Hey, dude, I got a deal for you. Instead of buying my land to lay your track across there or paying me money, I'm going to let you do it for free. But what you have to do is let me use the rail line to get my coal and my clay off your property." So based on that, they struck a deal. And in the middle of that was this little vein of coal in the area of Moonville. Made the deal, the track was built, the line was laid down, and then the little town of Moonville sprung up. It was a coal mining town. And it sprung up just for the purpose of mining that coal. And it didn't last very long. Population, probably 50 to 60. It might have made it to 100. Started to die out in the 1870s. But in this area of southeast Ohio, it's hill country. So a rail line offers a nice little grade, a nice little flat piece of land that's easy to walk. So I could just take this 3 miles of track. So what a lot of people did was to go ahead and take this rail line. Now, when you get on a bridge and the train's coming and you didn't know it, or if just down the tracks was a tunnel and you're not going to hear that train coming. So occasionally, you're going to be in danger. What happened specifically in this area of Moonville where the tunnel is people got killed. And according to the stories, a lot of people got killed. So the tracks, over time, hauled the coal, hauled the clay, and then the coal dried up. So Moonville really didn't have a reason to stay. So in the late 1800s, Moonville started to die out. And the last resident, I think, left in the 40s. But the tracks stayed active until about 1985. And then CSX said, hey, it's a secondary line. We don't need it as a primary line anymore. But even as a secondary line, the tracks were still used until about 1988. And then they pulled the tracks up. And that's the end of Moonville's railroad history. No trains come here anymore. So people come here for other reasons. Create a different culture that comes here to visit today. And because of all the people that have passed, to some people left the spirit behind. They come here to connect with the spirits. And that's kind of the new culture that comes here to Moonville. And I really don't know how to connect with spirits. I don't get into that. But I think it's fascinating, and I don't judge people that do. When you explore a culture, you explore everything from their poetry, to their music, to their industry. And there's actually been a lot of music. There was a few, the Moonville Brakemen, which talks about the one of the brakemen that died. There's a modern song written by a guy named Jordan Lee of a band called Mutual Benefit. The name of the song is the Moonville Tunnel. It must be in the indie folk genre. And what he says about it in his album called Spider Heaven, recorded in the midst of an ongoing existential crisis in Midwestern basements, parks, and attics. You know, I heard the song a couple days ago before we came down here, and I thought, you know, I'm going to give it a shot, see if I can learn it. And I am terrible at music, so don't judge me, but try to feel what he felt, try to learn what he learned. Don't forget to comment below. If you've been to Moonville and if you've connected with this place in some way or have come here to do that, please add a comment. I would love to hear from you. Moonville Tunnel by Mutual Benefit. Terrible cover song. I think I have, over 20 years, I've probably picked up 160 bad habits in music, so I apologize in advance for how bad this is. Crawl until you can't go home. With battered knees, you sink into the sea. Cry until you don't know why. And tears will fall and climb back in your eyes. Inside Moonville Tunnel I was haunted by 3 spirits of jealous lovers trying to find revenge. And they were tied to this world, and they couldn't get an edge on anything, so they stayed. Scream, don't know what it means. The words all sound and sink into the sea. Claw your fingers to the wall. Separates you from everything. Inside Moonville Tunnel I was haunted by 3 spirits of jealous lovers trying to find revenge. So, you know, based on the financial situation of all the railroads in this area and all the businesses, our capitalistic spirit, Marty and I have decided to start not the M&C Railroad, but we've decided to start the M&C Saloon. So we're going to spend a little time opening our new business here on the in the Moonville Tunnel, the M&C Cafe, Moonville, Ohio. Welcome to the M&C Saloon on the M&C rail line. Originally the M&C, Marietta and Cincinnati rail line, but this is the Marf and Chuck Saloon in the Moonville Tunnel. Now we thought we'd give a little hand to ourselves, since hipsterism and ghost hunting and old-fashioned music are kind of popular now, that we would give our hand at starting a business that could capitalize on this new situation of
Yep, we got loans from banks.
Got lots of loans from banks. Lots of loans from banks. Got ourselves a picnic table, a few bottles of whiskey. Prost. In about 2 hours, we haven't had a lot of customers on our grand opening, but we're gonna kind of see how it goes. Yeah, that's good.
Well, of course.
That was awkward.
Well, that was fun.
But yeah, some interesting stories here in Moonville.
Yeah, there was a group of spirit hunters, ghost hunters that were here earlier. They didn't buy any from us, but they came with their own hot dogs and they set up a fire and
We still got 3 hot dogs left if anybody's interested.
they left them here.
So yeah. Well, it's been a few hours and we're insolvent. We declared bankruptcy about an hour ago. Now we're insolvent, so we just can't make a go of it. So anybody out there that does saloon railroad things, go ahead and give us a call. Hey, it's great music. So hey, click the subscribe button. It's down there in the bottom, and go ahead and subscribe to our channel, because there's more of this wonderful weirdness coming up. And like the video if you get a chance, and check us out at restlessviking.com. The Moonville Tunnel. Thanks for watching.